Morning, Noodlers. Paul Romero with the Sell a House Wholesale Real Estate Training, number 94. Apologize, you caught me catching a little snack there. Kind of hungry this morning. So anyway, here we are on Friday, February. No, I wish it was February 20th, to be honest with you. This first quarter has flown by. It's already March 20th, 10 days left. And I got to tell you, this first quarter hasn't gone that great. We had some very strange deals going on this year so far. And not that I'm complaining about them at all. It's just that they have given us a lot of lessons. We've learned a lot of things, but they've taken a lot of time. It cost us a lot of money. We haven't hit our projected numbers that we were looking for at this time. Now, am I disappointed with that? Absolutely. Am I mad about it? No. Am I discouraged by it? No. Am I going to give up on it because of it? No. It just means that we need to look at what happened. What did we do? What didn't we do? What did we do right? What did we do wrong? What did we do good? What did we do bad? What did we do well? And determine what caused this to happen. What caused us to fall short of our goals? Because generally, well, you know what? I mean, I am not surprised to fall short of the goal. That's pretty much happens most of the time. You will set a goal and you will not achieve it within the time frame that you put upon it because you're just not that smart. Okay, you don't know when it's going to be best for you to achieve what it is that you're looking to achieve. The universe, the mass, infinite intelligence knows that and will give it to you when you're ready. So your job is really to be ready and get ready and do all of those things, most of which all of that falls within, your mind up here and how you think about things. You really need to look at how do I process this information? What do I believe? Why are these things happening to me? And if you look at the way that you think about these actions and these things that take place and what those made you feel and how you reacted and acted upon those situations, that's where you're going to find your answers. That's where you're going to find why you did this and why you did that, or why you didn't do this or why you didn't do that. Is you're going to find that within the thinking process and how did this all make me feel and what reactions and actions did that cause? There's your answer. People don't look there. People only look at, well, I did this, but that happened. Or this happened and I did that, but we didn't get this. And they blame the circumstance itself on the action, which may or may not be the real problem. So looking at the fact that we didn't reach our goals, we need to go back and look at what did we do, because it's not anything that happened out there that caused us to fall short. It's all within here. It's all within what we did or did not do, what we thought or did not think, and how we processed the two together to create the results that we got. That's the bottom line. So, like I said, are we giving up because of this? We fell short. We don't have enough money to pay the bills, whatever the deal is. No, we're not. We're going to continue moving forward. We're going to reevaluate. We're going to set new plans, and we're going to move forward with trying to achieve new goals. Maybe the new goals are still the same old goals. but we're still going to try to achieve them. But we're going to reset a new plan. Now that we go back and we now analyze, well, this is probably what caused that to happen, and that's probably what caused this to happen. And the way that I looked at this and the way we thought about that and the way that we reacted to that, or the way that we didn't react to that, probably what caused that happen. So moving forward, okay, we have to stop doing that and start doing this. And that's where you're going to get, like I said, that's where you're going to get your solutions. That's where you're going to find your growth. That's where you're going to move from one level to the next, is being able to go back and analyze. And you have to do that quite often. You really should be doing that. You really should be spending, at least a few hours, if not one day a month, looking back on your month, on your 30 days and going, okay, what did we do good? What didn't we do good? What were we thinking about this? What were we thinking about that? Why were we thinking this about that? And why were we thinking this about that? That's a real key factor right there. Why were you thinking that? And that's really going to make a change in how you think about it the next time. Because if you look at the fact that you go, well, we were thinking this because I was looking at blah, blah, blah. You might realize that, well, looking at blah, blah, blah was not the right way to look at things. And looking at blah, blah, blah is, in fact, something silly and wrong. But I should actually be looking at, X, Y, Z over here the next time something like this happens. And if we would have looked at X, Y, Z instead of blah, 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 then we probably would have been thinking along these lines and produced this result instead of what we got. And that's how you need to analyze it. Why were you thinking what you were thinking that caused you to do what you did or did not do that gave you the result that you got? And go back and start with, okay, how do we need to think differently to create a different action and take a different action, or not take a different action, or not take an action, whatever the case might be, and move towards a different result, a better result. And maybe you try that, and maybe you go out and you try that, and it still doesn't work. You set a new goal for the next quarter, and you're going to focus upon going down the XYZ trail, and the next thing you know, you get to the next quarter, and you still didn't get it. Well, now you got to look at, okay, well, we know blah, blah, blah is not working. We know XYZ is not working. Let's try ABC this time. Maybe ABC is the way to go. Because if we look at how we were thinking about this, that's not right. We thought about this, thinking that was the right way. Obviously, that's not the right way. Why were we thinking about doing it this way? And why were we thinking about doing it that way? Okay, let's think about doing it this way now. What would happen if we do it this way? And that's what you have to do, is correct and continue. But you can't correct anything that you don't look back on. Okay, you have to go back and analyze and think and review and see where the internal problem lies and what caused these situations and circumstances to take place. Because I guarantee you, it's all going to come back around to one thing: you and the way you think. It's all going to come back around that. How did you think about it? Why did you think about it that way? And what did you do? It's all going to come back to you. So you have to work on yourself more than you have to work on all the silly little tasks that happened out there that caused these things to take place. Very, very powerful stuff is working on yourself. And you know what? People don't understand, and people don't work on themselves. They're always focused upon the how. How did this take place? How did this happen? How do we move to another thing? How does this go on? You work on the mechanics, and it doesn't get out there the way that it should. And therefore, you might make a little bit of progress. You work on all these mechanics. You might make a little bit of progress. You might step forward. You might make a little bit more money, whatever the case is. But when you get pounded, it's going to send you right back to where you were. And that's what's going to happen, is, trust me, is you're going to get pounded time and time and time again, because that's what the world does to us. You have to be able to be a person that's going to take that pounding and continue to get up and keep going it. keep going at it. So, and what I mean by keep going at it is continue to work on yourself and the way you're thinking, because when you get pounded, it's because you're not thinking right. It's because you're getting off track. You're going in the wrong direction. You're not thinking the right way. So bam, you have to get pounded and you have to get knocked back, onto the trail, so to speak, so that you can get up and hopefully start heading back down the trail again. But then, the trail gets thinned out and it looks like it goes this way when it really goes that way, and you head off this direction, and then bam, you get pounded again because you're on the wrong path. People think that they're getting pounded because they're just unlucky, and the bad things happen to them all the time, and this, that, and the other thing, and they just start to accept it after a while as the way it is. You're only being pounded because you got off track, and you're being pounded to knock you back on track. So you have to look each and every time you get pounded. You've got to look at what's going on. Why didn't what I expected to happen? And like I said, take it back inside. What was I thinking that caused me to do what I did, that created the result that I got? That's the way you have to do it. And when you start doing that on a regular basis, you can start correcting. And as you're correcting, you're going to be zigzagging along down the path, of course, but as you're correcting, you got to be getting new information. You got to be working on yourself for new information. That's where the secret lies, is working on yourself. Because if you go out there and you just say, well, we did this and it didn't work, so let's do this. But you're thinking about the same way. You're thinking about your approach is the same thing. And you just keep trying all these new things. Oh, well, that fails. That doesn't work. Well, maybe it's not a failure. It's a success. You successfully found a way that doesn't work. Wow, that doesn't work. I'm getting closer to finding which way does. Not, oh, that's a failure. That doesn't work. This whole thing's a failure. It doesn't work. Because that's the next thing that you're going to fall upon, is this whole thing's a failure. It doesn't work. I'm a failure. I don't work. I'm not successful, is where it's all going to lead back to. And that's just killing your self-confidence and anything else. So the way you think about it, really, really, really powerful. So how do you work on yourself? Well, I'm going to get into the idea of books. First of all, you can do audiobooks. You can go on YouTube and get audio. I did an awesome YouTube audio over the past weekend, and I did put it on in the background a little bit while I was doing another task. But I'll tell you what, it must have got in my mind, because I stopped the other task. I don't know how far I was through, maybe halfway, maybe about halfway through. Suddenly, all of a sudden, the audio that I was listening to was like, bam, it captured my attention. I had to stop what I was doing and focus purely upon that for the second half. So, I still have to go back now and listen to the whole thing. But multitasking is wrong. You've got to get out of the habit of thinking that multitasking is the way to go. Multitasking was specifically designed to keep you unproductive. Yeah. To keep you you might think, hey, I can do 3 things at once, and if I'm doing 3 things at once, I'm getting more done. Wrong. You're getting 3 things done 1/3 of the way through, and you ain't finishing squat. When you focus upon one thing and you start it with the desire and the goal in mind to finish it, and you go from start to finish unbroken upon your focus, not multitasking and being distracted, that's when you're achieving success. If it takes you one day to go from start to finish on this project right here, but instead you take that one day and you only go this far on 3 things throughout that whole day, what do you think doesn't it just make sense? Doesn't it make a whole lot more sense to have one thing finished and accomplished and completed? Boom. Now I can advance forward and move on to the next step. Whereas you multitask these 3 things today, you got 3 of them 1/3 of the way done. What are you going to do tomorrow? Well, I didn't finish those, but now I got these. And now, so the next day you're working on 4 things and they're getting less done. And then you just work closer and closer and closer to never getting done. That's why multitasking is the death of success. Success falls upon focus, clarity, drive, a chief aim, being, you know, tunnel visioned upon what it is that you want, obsessed with what it is that you want to achieve and accomplish, getting through your task, through your goal, through whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, from start to finish, with no distractions, with nothing else going on, with you not working on 2 things at once, with you not trying to listen to an audio book in the background. All of those things is far more successful, will take you much, much further in this world to be able to accomplish, to finish things. Most people never finish anything. They work on too many projects. They got all this stuff going on and nothing ever gets finished. Think about that. What do you have going on that's unfinished right now? That's why that success plan that we talked about the other day is so important, because the whole idea of that success plan is to narrow it down to what's the one most important thing that I need to start today and finish tomorrow or the next day or whenever it is. That's why that success plan is so important. So, and that's why that's why books that I started to talk about a minute ago, that's why books, any kind of book, are so important, are so powerful. Because think about this. You can put an audio book on and you can be working on something else, right? You can be typing on the computer or writing something out, or you can have an audio book on the stereo while you're eating your lunch and having conversation. You can do all these things. You could be working on emails and you can do all this stuff multitasking. Why? Because your eyes, your ears, and your mind are generally occupied by these. Your hands generally bring in the attention of what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and what you're focusing in your mind. Generally comes from what your hands are doing. When you have a book in your hands, what are your hands doing? They're grasped upon this book. They're focused upon this book. So where are your eyes focused? They're focused upon the book, upon the words within the book. So your eyes aren't wandering all around with all these other thoughts. Your hands aren't idly doing other things, bringing in other thoughts, and you can focus your mind upon one thing, the words within this book. That's why books, physical books, are so powerful, because they focus your mind on one thing. Even if you're listening to an audiobook, where do you listen to audiobooks? Do you sit in a nice quiet room and just focus upon the words of the book? No. You put audiobooks on when you're driving, you put them on when you're jogging, you put them on when you're, doing something around the house. You're distracted. You're not getting the information off the book, and you're not paying 100% attention to what you're doing either. You're multitasking and you're not completing anything. You're not being successful. So I just want to put out there that there's a whole lot of great information in books. I would highly suggest that you go out and you buy yourself some books, some physical books. Start building a physical book library and start reading them. Even if you only read 1 page a day, pick up the book, open it, read a page, because you're focused 100% on what you're doing at that point in time. It's great to have them on when you're driving. It's great to have them on when you're jogging. It's great to have them on when you're doing other things, because you know what? Subconsciously, the message is still getting into your mind, and that's a good thing, because you always want to be filling your mind with good messages, Because most of the messages that we have filled our minds with and what we're continuing to fill our minds with are negative, bad information, wrong information, false information, lies. It's, other people's opinions, whatever. It's not necessarily the truth. We should all be seekers of truth. And we give up on that. And we start just believing what we know at a certain point. And as the record goes around and the needle plays in the record, that what we know gets deeper and deeper and deeper, because it's just wearing a hole in there, the rut, so to speak, that you get into a rut. You've all heard the saying, I'm in a rut, that's what it is. You're in a rut because you've worn that path so thin or so deep that you can't get out of it. That's why you have to continually be feeding your mind with new information. Get it out of books. Feed your mind with new information. It keeps those ruts. It actually smooths them out to where you can actually skate along like on ice wherever you want to be without getting caught and trapped. I mean, what happens if there's a rut in the ice? You're going to hit that thing and bam, it's going to wipe you out. And that's what the world's going to do. It's going to wipe you out. When you get out of that rut, your mind goes, bam, hey, you're out of your rut. Get back in there. But I just want to put out there to you guys today that how you think about things drives what you do about things, which produces the results that you get from things, okay? Analyze that. Continually be going back and analyzing what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it especially, and what it's causing. And if you want a different result from that, figure out how to work backwards to a different why. Okay, well, that didn't work this way because of these reasons, so why should we try this? Well, if we try this, this might happen, boom, 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 so let's go ahead and try it. Never give up. Number 2, can't ever give up. If you don't achieve your goal, you've got to turn around, recreate it, and continue moving forward. Set new tasks, set new objectives, set new goals, and achieve your ultimate success, ultimately over time. Expect to be pounded, and pounded hard, because as you try this, it's going to take you, if it's not absolutely the truth and the right thing to do, it's going to take you off path, and bam, you're going to get pounded, because the pounding is for your own good. The pounding is not because you are a failure. The pounding is because you're achieving some success, but you're going the wrong way. Bam, pound you so that you can find and figure out the right way. That's the whole thing. The people that get pounded and get up and head back down the same path again, guess what? They're going to get pounded again because they're going down the wrong path. So you got to get up and you got to brush yourself off. And before you head back down that same path again, you got to think, oh, why did I get pounded? I got pounded because I'm off track. Where's the right track? What do I need to do here? Oh, okay, maybe this is the right track. Head down this track for a while. You're not going to go backwards. You're here. You went that way before. Let's go this way this time. Maybe this is the right track. All right, you get out there, bam, you get pounded. Maybe you just go a little ways down that. Maybe that's the wrong track right off the bat, and boom, you get knocked back over to the right path. It's all about just continuing to correct and continue. Part of what you have to correct and continue with is yourself. That's the key enlightenment role, is correct and continue upon yourself, upon seeking truth, upon not believing everything that you hear, upon not believing everything that you know already. Because you know what? 99% of what you got inside you is manipulated, distorted information. Think about it. Where's it come from? The news. You don't think that the news is 100% negativity? Try to find one positive story in the news. Try to find more than one, because there's usually always one. Try to, think about when you were back in school, all right? Reading the history books about the war. Who won the war? The good guys won the war, right? The good guys always win the war. Why do the good guys always win the war in the stories that we're reading in the books? Because the good guys wrote the winners of the war wrote the freaking story. They wrote the history book. Do you think that the winner of the war is going to play themselves out to be the bad guy? No, we don't know that. Who are they fighting against? Why did this war start? Were they really even the good guys? Or were they, did they have their own agenda, which was really bad as a whole? We don't know that, but that's where the truth lies. We don't get that information. We get stuffed with facts, and use these facts to do what? To accumulate credits. And what do these credits do? They don't do nothing for you. Well, you can use them to get further. Oh, okay. So that's how we leave school, is thinking I have to take these facts and use them to get credits, or now exchange them for money so that I can get further. We never even get taught what money really is, how money really works, what you're supposed to be doing with money, why you're out there actually trying to get money. We never get taught any of that stuff. I'm a perfect example. I never got taught any of this stuff until the last 3 years. And as you can see, there's already gray hair up here. Yeah. You know how hard it is to get out of the rut of believing your old ways? When you get older and older and older, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. It becomes harder and harder and harder, and you get stuck believing what you're at. And that's why you have what you have in this world today, because you're stuck in your rut. So what does this have to do with wholesale real estate? Wholesale real estate is 100% all about correct and continue, because I guarantee what I talked about the other day, every deal is going to be different. You got to continually be correcting and continuing to alter what you're doing, to improve what you're doing, to make it better. Because if you just sit there, it's going to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle until you have to give it up and go back to work. So anyway, everybody, I'm done for today. Welcome. I want to thank you for being here and checking out the presentation here. I hope you got a good message out of this. Focus. Stop multitasking. Focus upon what you want and think about your thinking. Think about how you think about this, and be very, very careful of the information that you're getting and the information that you already have. And with that, I'm going to end this, as we always do, with the Napoleon Hill prayer, which says, "Oh, universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, with which to..." Oh, wow. Did I just go blank there? "Oh, universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, with which to make better use of those riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire by thinking." All right, everybody. See you back here on New Op Day, and we'll get into some very good material then. Have a great weekend. Go out there, make some money. In actuality, it's getting towards the end of the quarter. Maybe you want to think about spend this weekend reflecting upon what you have done to get you from January 1st to today. Is it good enough? Why did it happen? It happened because of you, I guarantee.